started. Good evening, everybody from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for joining us from wherever you've joined. Policy Panorama. My name is Taiwo-Sidiq, and I'm the host for the show. Policy Panorama is a weekly show that x-rays developments in the polity and also seek to provide uncommon perspectives for Nigeria's young people, talking about millennials and Gen Zs, and on issue of politics, policy, and of course governance. So we are pleased to have you join us this evening, and we really look forward to a robust conversation, especially on the hot topic. Every week we converge here to discuss pertinent developments, especially training developments in the polity that we consider very important for the knowledge of Nigeria's young people. So on this week's episode, we have a lot, as usual, lined up for our pleasure, our listening pleasure. But we'll be having our usual segments on the show. The first is the This Week in History segment, which will be coming up shortly. We also have the hot topic, which will come immediately after the Matters Arising segment. And so we have the Matters Arising segment is focused on the most relevant developments in the polity, what we consider the most relevant developments in the polity. And then we also have the My Two Cover segment, which is the audience participatory segment, which takes place for us to share our thoughts on the burning topic in the that was expressed and views expressed in the course of the show. And then the final segment of the show is the last line. So very soon I'll hand over to Kola Mohammed, my co-host, who will take it up from there. Kola, can you please take it up? Kola joins us from Ibadan, southwest Nigeria.
All right, Dayo. Good evening, everyone, once again, and welcome to Policy Panorama on Twitter. This is the This Week in History segment, where we go through some historical events down the line. This week in 2013, President Goodluck Jonathan declared a state of emergency in 3 states. On 14 May 2013, in a live broadcast, President Goodluck Jonathan declared a state of emergency in Yobe, Adamawa, and Borno states. Those 3 states in northeastern Nigeria were the most affected by the Boko Haram insurgency. Also, this week in 2002, Lady Kofoworola Ademola died aged 88. On 15 May 2002, Nigerian educationist and women's rights advocate Lady Kofoworola Ademola died at the age of 88. She was a lifetime advocate of women and girls' education. In 1935, she became the first black woman. She became the first black African woman to graduate from the University of Oxford, where she earned a degree in education and English from St. Ives College. She was also the first president of the National Council of Women's Societies in Nigeria from 1958 to 1964. She was appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire and Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, OFR, and she was also the Mujibade of Ake and Lika of Zemo. Furthermore, on This Week in History, this week in 1925, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, popularly known as Malcolm X, was born. On 19 May 1925, Malcolm X, born Malcolm Little, was born in Omaha, Nebraska, United States. He was an African-American leader and prominent figure in the Nation of Islam who articulated concepts of race rights and black nationalism in the early 1960s. He was known to express the pent-up anger and frustration of African Americans during the major phase of the civil rights movement from 1955 and 1965. In 1964, Malcolm X earned the Yoruba name Omowale, which means the son who has come home in Nigeria, after he spoke at the University of Ibadan. Furthermore, on This Week in History, this week in 1997, Zaire was renamed the Democratic Republic of Congo. On 17 May 1997, rebel forces entered Kinshasa, causing then President and dictator Mobutu Sese Seko to go into exile. That same day, Laurent Desire Kabila declared himself President of Zaire and reverted the country's name to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC. And finally, on This Week in History, this week in 1991, Somaliland declared independence from Somalia. On 18 May 1991, Somaliland declared independence from Somalia after a 10-year civil war. During colonial times, Somalia was divided into two regions. Britain controlled the northern part, now known as Somaliland, while Italy controlled the rest of the area. In June 1960, Somaliland gained independence from Britain, and 5 days later, the two former colonies united as the United Republic of Somalia. The union lasted until 1981, when civil war broke out. And that will be all for This Week in History. Timidayo, over to you.
Thank you very much, Kola, for taking us down memory lane and for bringing all of the relevant developments that have happened this week in history over the years. We would be joined now by my co-host, Efe Kola Madi, who joins us from Benin City, South Nigeria. Efe takes us on the Matters Arising segment. Hi, Efe, are you there?
Hi, Dayo, I'm here.
All right. Please take it away.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll just go straight away to Matters Arising. Matters Arising is the section where we get to bring some of the major news items to your remembrance or notice out of the myriad of issues that dominated the politics. So usually we will, single out 2 or 3 that we consider the biggest. I know that it's usually a tall order to, single out just 2 or 3 news items from the particular week ending. So this week we have 3 items, and I'll just get into it right away. Number 1 says Deborah Samuel killed non-Muslims and Miss Paradise Sheikh Gumi warns Islamic extremists. Islamic cleric Ahmed Gumi has joined the conversation of death for blasphemy, saying that the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, did not at any time kill anyone despite the fact that he was insulted severally. Gumi said this while conducting a religious teaching class in his Kaduna Jumat Mosque. His statement was a reaction to the recent lynching of Deborah Samuel, a female Christian student at Shehu Shagari College of Education in Sokoto, over alleged blasphemy. Gumi said anyone who kills a non-Muslim who they have agreed to live peacefully with will not smell the fragrance of paradise for 40 years. If we think that killing Deborah, people who are not of the same faith with us, will stop insulting our prophet, then we are in delusion, he concluded. Number 2, on Matters Arising, Sanwo-Olu imposes total ban on Okada in 6 local councils. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has banned the operation of commercial motorcycles, popularly called Okada, in 6 local governments. The governor announced that the ban is indefinite and total. The 6 local governments affected are Ikeja, Surulere, Etiosa, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island, and Apapa. The governor gave out the directive at a meeting with the Commissioner of Police area commanders and divisional police officers (DPOs) at the State House in Alausa. The first Okada ban followed the February 2020 restriction placed on the activities of commercial motorcycles. He said after a critical review of a restriction on Okada activities in its first 6 local government areas where we restricted them on February 1, 2020, we have seen that the menace has not abated. We are now directing a total ban on Okada activities across the highways and bridges within 6 local government and their local council development areas, effect from June 1, 2022. The ban is coming days after Okada riders killed a young man in Lekki area of Lagos over 100 naira balance. It was learned that the victim, who was a sound engineer, was lynched and burned to death after a misunderstanding ensued over the 100 naira balance with one of the commercial motorcyclists. And lastly, on matters arising this week, lower denomination naira notes now useless to Nigeria's economy. They will be phased out, CBN says. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it will soon phase out the circulation of lower denomination of naira notes, making this known as an e-naira sensitization exercise in Asaba Delta State on Friday. Aminu Busy, CBN consultant on e-naira, disclosed that the 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira notes, which have been weakened by the declining purchasing power of the naira, will soon be out of circulation. So very soon you may not be seeing 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira notes in circulation because CBN is using money to print these notes, and at the end of the day, these 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira will be abused, Mr. Busy said. Further, making a case for the wide adoption of e-naira, Mr. Busy disclosed that the Apex Bank was losing money replacing mutilated notes abused by market women and traders and other members of the public. The CBN stated this as part of its e-naira initiative, which aims to promote financial inclusion and a cashless policy. Mr. Busy said the traders in onion, sachet water, pepper, and other commodities will be taught how to utilize the e-naira accounts to conduct transactions at the sensitization exercise held on Friday at the Asaba's famed Ogbogonogo market. With smaller denominations constantly losing their value due to the naira's diminishing purchasing power, the CBN claims it is squandering money by issuing the notes, which are then abused by the populace. That was matters arising for this week. Like I always say, you can go online, use your devices and get to check some of these information so you can be better informed. I don't know, Dario Kola, I don't know which of these news item caught your attention during the week. I was particularly very impressed with Gumi coming out to speak on Deborah's incidents. Gumi being this seems like the typical Gumi before he became entangled in this banditry, Malava. It's more, look at the public, especially from the south. In the south, I know we've not been very comfortable with the role Gumi has played. It's been more or less like a spokesman for the bandits. But this is seeming like the typical Gumi that we used to know, and I think I'm very impressed with the much that he said, in his statement that was in the news this week. I don't know if Dayo, if you have, if you also noticed, or probably any of the other news items caught your attention.
Yeah, for me, thank you very much, Efe. For me, I think it's the story on CBN saying that they will soon phase out 5 naira, 10 naira, and 20 naira because it's near useless to to the Nigerian economy. I don't know if I'm cutting them out of context now, but I just hope that we're not going to have a policy somersault in the long run, especially when you consider the fact that there is a clamor for introduction of coins, that a lot is being lost to rounding up figures, that the coins has a big role to play in those coin denominations has a big role to play in economic prosperity, and that it does help to cushion the effect of inflation.
Aren't you surprised I didn't even mention the coin? It would seem like even the CBN had forgotten about the coin.
So I'm wondering that if we are phasing out 5 naira, 10 naira, and 20 naira, well, I think that in the days to come, we would see what comes out of this. But I think that's the essence of matters arising, where these developments that will just sneak under the headlines. We are more concerned about the elections and all of this. So this is something to probably watch out for, and then we can begin to prepare our minds on how to either antagonize it or support it, and we have to do this from a place of knowledge. So that's for me. I don't know about Kola. Hello, Kola.
Yeah, I think coming from the policy somersault that you mentioned, I think it's just it. But for me, it has to be the accountant general. It has to be the accountant general.
That didn't make the. He didn't make the. He didn't make the. He didn't make a big three now. No, but I get it. Actually, I was in a dilemma because I had to stick to 3. Actually that was a major, a major news. But when you have,
I was going to mean that was mine, but I'm just surprised that it did not make the FIFA Ballon d'Or.
Maybe it should have made, as in 80 billion is too small. Probably can make.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Efe. Thank you so much, Kola. We'll progress to the next segment of the show now, and want to say thank you, especially to everyone who has joined us after we had welcomed guests and brought audience to the show. You are logged on to Policy Panorama. Policy Panorama is a weekly show that's dedicated to providing uncommon perspectives, panorama perspectives, to the developments in the polity, especially in the areas of politics, policy, and governance. And the show is packaged by a think tank, which is also dedicated to helping Nigeria's young people make informed decisions, provide thought leadership on these critical issues. My name is Taiwo-Sidiq, and I'm hosting the show live from Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. You heard the voice, or you probably must have heard the voices of my co-host, Kola Mohammed, who joins us from Southwest Nigeria, Ibadan. And then Efe Kola Madi, who joins us from Benin City, South Nigeria. So we're saying a good evening to you from Lagos, Nigeria, West African time. And thank you so much for joining us. We really hope to provide a very robust show for you so that you can come back again and again. I would want to move swiftly into the hot topic. And the hot topic for tonight is the menace of motorcycles in Nigeria. Is it a survival instinct or it's a security risk? I mean, so much has happened in the course of the last 2 weeks, I would even say. We heard about the Deborah Samuel issue, but just about the time that the Deborah Samuel issue was happening, it's almost, I did find out that a number of persons do not know about the David Umo case, but indeed, a sound engineer who was a member of the Church of God Mission in Lagos, Victoria Island, if I remember, I hope I got that correctly, um, was to he had a work to do at one of these bars or club or something in Lekki area of Lagos, and then he was there when, according to a blog, I got like some kind of inside scoop. He was there when two of his friends did come around. He invited them to come around. They were supposed to play a role at that event, and then the friends had issue with the motorcycle rider, that's Okada rider, who brought them to the place. I think it was a case of 500, and them handing 500 naira to the Okada man, and he said he didn't have change, and they had 300 naira. So there was the 100 naira difference, which the these boys in question were trying to get the Okada man to understand. Oh, we don't have. It's just accept it that way, and I think it was to. He also was. It was challenged. The Okada man was challenged in the area of understanding English properly, and so one thing and the other ensued, which made it appear like these boys were Yahoo boys in quotes who wanted to defraud him, and the friend who invited them, who unfortunately is the deceased now, had to come out to defend them. And in the course of defending them, as we learned, the other Okada riders and who were trying to sympathize with their colleagues, they beat these three guys. They beat them up. They beat them to pulp. And while the two of them who had this scuffle initially with the Okada man were hospitalized as we speak, the friend David Umo, who invited them, sadly was burnt to death. It's such a sad development, but this is not the last we've heard. Also, earlier today on Twitter, I watched a video, same Lekki, Lagos area. I'm not sure when that happened because there's no timestamp on the video, but another set of Okada riders did beat up a motorist to death. I mean, using clubs, using different objects, hitting him, making sure that he dies. I mean, that video was very, very, I don't know, it just paints the cannibalistic trait that we are beginning to see in the country of how people just watch while life live a fellow human. But apart from that, on Wednesday in Abuja, violent crashes erupted at an Abuja market, popularly known, a building materials market, popularly in the popular area called the Day area. And there was a case, the incident happened as a result of a truck carrying domestic gas crushing a woman who was a passenger on a commercial motorcycle to death. And the development led the people in the area to set the bike ablaze, as we have learned. And this sparked up serious issues, leading to the Okada riders revolting and then burning up shops in the markets, attacking people. So this also was followed in the course of the week by the Lagos State government reinstituting a ban. The ban that was instituted on 1st of February 2020 has been reinstituted. So in 6 local governments, like you heard during Matters Arising, motorcycles have been banned. All major roads and bridges in Lagos, motorcycles have been banned. But I mean, preparing for the show, as a team, we sat down and looked at it like, okay, so there are a number of sides to this. There's the fact that, okay, these people are trying to survive, but people are also talking about the issue of threat to our living and a lot. So we have a lot to unpack this evening, and so we want you to stay tuned as we break down this topic, and then we would also like you to please, when necessary, take down your questions or your suggestions, just so that you can make your contributions much later in the course of the show. So, having set the tone for the conversation, I want to hear from, let me start from Abraham. We are joined this evening by Abraham Imoisili. He's a legal practitioner. Hi, Abraham, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, Temidayo.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know which of these incidences you are familiar with, Abraham, but do we have an Okada problem in Nigeria?
I will say yes and no. Yes, we have security problem in Nigeria, general, not necessarily tagged to Okada only. However, we cannot pretend that some of the security challenges are usually connected with Okada. Whether you talk of, armed robbery, I'll call it low-scale armed robbery anyway, because when they invaded Uromi the other day and attacked several banks, I'm sure Okada was nowhere near the operation. But be that as it may, we know that Okada makes certain criminal activities a bit faster for the perpetrators of such conduct. And then, of course, just like you had earlier highlighted, the continuous situation of clashes between Okada riders and several other persons, depending on the incident. So yes, there are criminal security situations in Nigeria that is poor, which Okada, in some instances, do not make any better. I agree to that extent. No, we don't have Okada problem in the sense of the device itself, because what I would like to say is that we need to first and foremost appreciate the fact that Okada riding is a commercial activity, just like any other commercial activity, whether it is operating a cyber cafe, sales of phones, sale any kind of goods at all, or laundry, entertainment industry. It's a commercial activity. So whenever a criminal activity occurs within a particular commercial sector or a particular industry in the economy, I don't think it is appropriate to try to tag the entire industry just with that singular conduct. For example, like phone sellers, I live in Lagos, for example. I believe one of the biggest markets for mobile phones is Computer Village. If you know Computer Village very well, know that if you are not driving, the possibility of a group of thugs and bandits, if I may use that word, snatching your phone in broad daylight in the presence of everybody is very, very high. Especially if you are transmitting through the thoroughfare linking the railway to the Ikeja under bridge. They operate there every day, and this is notwithstanding that we have a DSS. There is a DSS barrack in that place, and there is also a police station in that place, and yet these incidents keep occurring. So do we now say that we have a GSM problem in Nigeria, or a mobile phone problem in Nigeria, simply because we have these people associated with phone selling, indulging in this thing? So that is why I said yes and no. Yes, there is security problem. No, it is not tagged to Okada as a device.
So yes, we have a security problem that is giving oxygen by Okada in some instances, and no, it's not personally or specifically an Okada problem. Is that what you just explained?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm trying to
Okay, I'll get back to you. Thank you very much. We are also joined by Edison Osayaba. Hello, Edison, can you hear me? Hello, Edison. Oh, I sent you an invite to speak. Please accept it so that we can get your thoughts on the show, Edison. I'm so sorry. I actually thought you'd gotten the invite already. All right. So while we try to get Edison on board, I really would want to read out some things to shape the conversation. But Edison is up now. So let's get his thoughts. Edison, if you can hear me, you are live, Edison. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, good evening, everyone. So, Dayo, I didn't get your question, actually.
Okay, so for me, I want to ask the same question I asked Abraham, but maybe with a little twist. I asked him if there is an Okada problem in Nigeria, but I just want to step it up a little, just so that since he has answered that, I want to step it up a little and ask that: do you think that the use of motorcycles in Nigeria is a menace?
Personally, I don't think it is. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
I don't think it is. I think they are easy targets by government to actually, make sanctions and impositions on, to make them look like they are doing something. That's the government now in this case. So, and I think that's because of the nature of the Okada riders. They seem to be disorganized and randomized in terms of their operations. So when you do that, it's easy for the government to easily put sanctions on them, and they won't, retaliate, or there won't be a pushback from them because they themselves, they lack that organization. So for me, I think it's a call by the government of Lagos State to actually create that ban or try to flag the general Okada populace in order for them to look good, in order for them to seem like they are doing something. Because the honest truth is there is a larger problem, and it's not just in Lagos, it's in Nigeria at large. So I think they are shying away from the real issue, because they know that it is easier for them to just point the finger at the Okada riders than to actually resolve the issue. So personally, I feel it's quite unfortunate that they had to do that to the Okada riders, notwithstanding the actions that was carried out by some, should I say, few Okada riders, was very distasteful, and it's something that you should not be encouraged by anybody. But nevertheless, I think there are ways in which you can come in as the government to, restore sanity into the state, and also to fish out those who perpetrated the act. That's my take on the issue.
Okay, we're going to actually come to solutions much later, but I'm curious. You are saying that it's a smoke screen. That's practically what I got from you. It's a smoke screen behind the ban of Okada, behind pointing to commercial motorcyclists as the problem. There is a problem inside, behind that. So behind this so-called Okada problem, would you want to enumerate 1, 2, 3? What are these issues that we are probably shying away from, that is not in the open? Are you ruling out the fact that people lose their lives, just like the woman who lost her life in Abuja on Wednesday as a result of rough riding? Are you ruling out the fact that people have lost their limbs, lost critical or vital aspects of their bodies as a result of carelessness on the part of Okada riders? Are you ruling out the fact that, like Abraham alluded to, we have serious issues of Okada riders accentuating crime, robbery, kidnapping, different crimes of different levels? So are we ruling out this and saying beyond this, these ones are not really the issues? Behind this, there's a bigger issue. What's really bigger than this?
For me, I think it's the overall security situation in the country. So, but for the purpose of specificity, I want to narrow it down to the incident in Lagos, so as to be more direct about the issue at hand, and also if I make resolutions and how effective those resolutions will be. Because applying it to all states in the country, it's a bit, unrealistic because each state is different from the other. You understand? So for Lagos State, I think, first of all, this is one thing that is common with every government, not just Lagos State government, right? They tend to shy away from those things that do not bring either positive political points to them or financial gains to them. I'm talking about the government now. So they don't concern themselves with those things, even though those things are things that the basic common Nigerian, which is the reasons why they are in government in the first place, is those things cater to those levels of Nigerians. They don't concern themselves with it. It's only when it's probably affected, it's affecting a certain class, a higher class of the country, that they tend to seem to care. So for the Okada riders specifically, I think one issue that it's actually quite easy to resolve is to institutionalize Okada riding. It's also a means for IGR. You understand? Create a union for them, not just force them to create unions. Meaning, before someone can ride on Okada in Lagos State, they have to go through some processes. If it's registration of their bike, verification of their riders, giving them tags, giving them numbers. So if any Okada rider is seen to either beat traffic, ride carelessly, or probably even commit a crime, it's easy to just take that tag and cross-reference it with the database of the state government, and you'll be able to fish that person out. It's actually quite easy. I think the government themselves, they are unwilling. They lack the willpower to do it, because even if you have just, let's say, 500 Okada riders in Lagos that are actually registered for this purpose, it is a lot better than banning Okadas overall, because you are giving these people that are using the Okada as a source of livelihood an option, a choice, not just outright ban where they have no means to get money or source for livelihood, and you are actually taking criminals to school to learn other means of criminality. Because these people that are riding these Okadas, now, they are human beings, they are not ghosts. Even though few of them are the ones committing the crime, now you have incentivized the crime, creates that ways to commit crime, and that will be another problem that will present itself in the near future. So to me, it's a bit, especially the word annoying, because I could actually see where this goes. Because these same people would come back into the street and commit one crime or the other and form a different problem for the state. So I think it is a lot easier to sanitize the Okada riding in Lagos State and than to actually put an outright ban on them. When I say sanity, from means of identification, registration to should I say how to hold them accountable for their actions, whether it is beating traffic, whether it is driving recklessly or outrightly committing a crime, they are now accountable to the government. So in that way, government really knows who and who is riding Okada and for what purpose is that Okada being driven in the state. So to me, I feel this will go a long way to actually cut the problem down to outrightly ban Okada in some local governments. So that's my take on the issue.
Okay, I'm going to hold on to one major thing that in the lot you said. I mean, you said a lot, but I'm saying one of the underpinning points you probably made is the fact that we have a database problem. Regardless of whether somebody's on the motorcycle, regardless of whether the person is driving a vehicle, one thing is clear. If somebody has been deemed to have committed a crime, if you have a solid database, then it's clear that you can trace that person or track that person to wherever they may be. And then you talked about the issue of union. I just want to chip this in. So actually, the Okada riders in Nigeria do have a union. It's called Akomoran. Akomoran stands for Amalgamated. So let me try to pull that up. Akomaran is Amalgamated Commercial Tricycle and Motorcycle Owners, Repairers and Riders Association of Nigeria. It's such a long name, but they do have a union. So I don't know if you want to provide a twist, but I will come back to you much later. So if it's about a union, they have a union, and I don't think that the union has helped in any way.
I don't know if I can easily quickly shift that, because it's union is one of the structures that need to be in place. So if that's the case, it means the union themselves, they're not actually fulfilling their goal or purpose as to why they were created in the first place. Then that's one. Then two, if there is actually a union, the first point of call for the government is to actually now go through the union to address this issue. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there has been any case where the government actually went through this union to create sanity in Okada riding in Lagos. You understand? So it's for them to just go out rightly and ban them. It's a bit harsh, and it's like you not recognizing the union that has been established, or rather you are saying that the union themselves are not fulfilling their purpose. But if that's the case, then try to sanitize the union first of all. Then if that doesn't work, then you can now act like rightly ban. So for me, I feel it's a step in the right direction, but it's not just the union. How do the government come in with the union to sanitize the Okada riding in Lagos State?
Okay, thank you. You want government to do better in ensuring that the unions function. I'm not sure how that will, but again, the conversation is ongoing. Thank you so much for.
Sorry, Mr. Dayo, because so that we don't, since this issue has been raised by Mr. Edis, I just want to chip in. Let's not pretend as if all was not well before. This thing we are talking about was created by the Sanwo-Olu government of Lagos State. Because we are okay for, I'll give an example. Thank God that you stay in Lagos. Just the past administration here, Ambode's administration, you had Okada, you had OP. Not only were these guys registered, they had agreements. I'm a lawyer, I know about the industry. They had agreements. Lebanese came into Lagos to invest in that business. These drivers are registered. Now, I'll ask you, even if you have not entered before, you know OP riders, you know Okada riders. Can those kind of riders, with the way they are, the polish and everything, can those kind of people burn anybody, no matter the provocation? So you have a governor who came on board. Even these people, they actually, by law, if you check the road traffic law of Lagos State, which this Sanwo-Olu, brought back again after Ambode suppressed it, he banned, and then these people now went, and they are now, and that is where all these northerners now came in with their trucks, because it's not a free for all. And then we are not coming to say there should be registration, as if there was not a registration before. So just like Mr. Edison said, this problem is government problem. But of course, it's always easy to prey on the weak. And then you now say you are banning. Meanwhile, you're actually doing nothing. They created the problem. That's just what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you, Abraham. I'm still going to come back to ask you the question I wanted to ask, but thank you so much, everyone who has joined us this evening. It's evening in Lagos, Nigeria. You are tuned into Policy Panorama. It's a weekly live show on this platform that gives you the opportunity to get uncommon perspectives on what we consider the most relevant issue in the polity that trended in the course of the previous week or the outgoing week. So, and we are discussing the menace of motorcycles in Nigeria. We're looking at it from two prisms. Is it an issue of survival instinct, or is it a security risk? So I just want to quickly say that if you've joined us, thank you. You are welcome, and we want to get your thoughts in the course of the show. In the next 10 to 12 minutes, we'll take a pause and introduce the My Two Kobo segment. We want to get your two kobo on the issues. Are you reacting to something that the panelists have said? Are you making your own contributions? And then we'll come to you, and then we'll return back to the panelists before we wrap up the show. Not to forget that we have our co-host, Effie and Kola. So what I will do quickly now is to ask Abraham this question, and then my co-host will ask you whatever questions they have for you. Abraham, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello, Abraham. Can you hear me? Abraham, if you can hear me, you need to unmute your microphone.
Yes,
okay.
yes. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so I want to read something very quickly from the Vanguard of today's Vanguard, and it says that this is news of the ban of commercial motorcycles, otherwise called Okada, in 6 local government areas of Lagos State by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu this week did not come as a surprise to many who considered it as long overdue. This is because security report has revealed that a good percentage of those parading themselves as commercial motorcyclists are indeed hoodlums and bandits who have invaded Lagos. At a security meeting in Abuja recently, it was revealed that over 3 million Okada riders trooped into Lagos since 2020. The bad ones among them are spread across almost all the communities in the state, waiting for the appropriate time to strike. With the foregoing, Lagos can be said to be sitting on the keg of gunpowder waiting to explode. Investigation by Saturday Vanguard further revealed that many riders in Lagos are from Chad, Niger, and other parts of the African continent. This leaves one to question the efficiency of security agents. Now, while majority of those whose operations were banned in states like Enugu, Abia, Akwa Ibom, Kano, Borno, Cross River, and Kaduna, among other states, find Lagos as a conducive ground to eke out a living, others use the opportunity to continue with their criminal activities. So I haven't just read this. I want to also paint a picture to you. You do know that the Lagos Transport Law of 2020 does put a ban on not just Okada riders, all commercial motorcycles and tricycles from plying major roads, major highways and bridges. So it's a law. When Edison and yourself has talked about this being oppression, preying on the weak, preying on the vulnerable, I want to find out from you, is it that, yes, I've heard what you said about security, should we completely discountenance these issues of foreigners coming in where there's a threat? And then is it a coincidence that in a space of 2 weeks, we've had the death of 3 persons? Shouldn't one life mean a lot? I want to get your thoughts on that.
First and foremost, I would like to say, with due respect to Vanguard, whichever newspaper made all those reports, those reports are laughing. It's a laughable report. I find it very laughable because I am from Edo State. In fact, specifically, I am from EU in Eastern Central Local Government of Lagos and Edo State. If you know what they call bandits, because it's like I think the reporter, whoever did that report, he doesn't know who a bandit is. If you know what a bandit, when we say bandits, which we initially were calling them Fulani herdsmen, then the media decide to switch it to bandits. If you know who bandits are, you will know that they don't need to come and ride Okada in Lagos to constitute mayhem. In fact, if you are following events in most parts of the country, you will see that they practically had several villages, roads hostage. I personally experienced a particular encounter. I was only lucky to escape by the whiskers. We are talking about people that police cannot even go near. They are engaged in the Nigerian army, and sometimes the soldiers have to give way for reinforcement. What are they coming to do with Okada in Lagos? You see, some of all these reports, when we look at them, we just laugh. You see, because sometimes we even have some journalists that are very, very irresponsible in terms of the way and manner in which they approach reporting. You say security report, even if you got the report from the DSS or police or whoever, have they gone on the streets, visit these people we are talking about? In Agege, you find them, they have clusters where they live. You find them at the Yanoba axis. You find them, they have particular places they live there. As these journalists, has he gone there to meet them? They also have clusters in Bariga. Has he gone there to investigate, interact with them, to know if truly these are bandits? What you just have are people moving to Lagos, just like every other person who is not an indige of Lagos, moving to Lagos to look for economic opportunities. There's nothing more, nothing less. Some persons try to tribalize the issue. I had a comment where somebody was saying, oh, we are at war in Nigeria against the Fulanis, again, try to bring tribal dimension to the issue. And I said, in Nigeria today, we all know that as far as Nigeria army is concerned, the Hausa Fulani bloc, whether they are good in military activities or for whatever reason, we know that they have a strong voice in the army. Now, if it is a war, do they need to send Okada riders to come and study your terrain? Can they use Nigerian army, soldiers from the Nigerian army who are Fulanis, who know the terrain like the back of their palm? Do they need that? Let us disassociate ourselves from all this scaremongering. I have said it, and Mr. Edison has also said it. Perhaps maybe we should highlight the failures. This is a failure of governance. It's simple. The average, these northerners, you see that anytime they fight, they always burn and do all that. The reason is very simple. A situation where Mr. A commits an offense, and for whatever reason you say, now Usa boy, I better leave them with their wahala. You let Mr. A go after killing somebody and setting him in place. Of course, what you are telling is the members of his ethnic group is that they can go scot-free with whatever. So, of course, anywhere they go, even when they come to strange lands, it is only natural that the mentality will continue. That, the sense that we are untouchable. Of course, they will consume menace. So the question is, okay, you have just mentioned incidents of people who have been killed. What has the police done? How many persons have been arrested? And these Okada riders from northern extraction in that axis, everybody who stays in that axis of Etiosa, they know where they stay. Because they usually don't stay individually. They live in a community. Has the police gone to that community in Etiosa local government in Lekki to go and conduct raids, discover whether they are hiding weapons in their houses there or anything before Vanguard came with this report? So sometimes let's not sensationalize issues and we'll do what I call scaremongering. You have a problem of lack of law enforcement. If it is an issue of it is a Fulani that is the president. Okay, you, Mr. Governor, what steps have you taken to ensure that whenever brazen conducts, brazen acts of violence are committed, that the perpetrators are brought to book? What steps have been taken? You understand what I'm saying? So, okay, now talking about this bandit invasion now, which I repeat is laughable. For the longer part of, is it 2020 or thereabout, bandits practically held Lagos-Ibadan roads, Benin, Lagos, or Reazi. They held those roads captive. It was not until,